Good evening. It's 6 o'clock, and in typical league tradition, we are going to start early, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If I can get Lancaster Tapestry Commission member Ed Galindo to step up here and lead us in the pledge.
Please rise, face the flag of our country, recognizing the principles for which it stands. Repeat, put your hand on your heart, and repeat after me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you be seated?
Thank you, Ed. Before we get started tonight, I'd just like to do a couple house cleaning things. Let me say that the League of Women Voters does not endorse candidates. We do not advocate for or against any side of an issue, and we're here tonight to just have a discussion. Our aim is to educate and inform people and hopefully get them to the polls. Tonight's topic is immigration, and it can be a bit of a controversial one. And we know that we can get passionate in our opinions sometimes. Our panelists that you see up here were all chosen because we believe that they represent a wide variety of opinion, and because we honestly believe that they can represent those opinions in a calm, deliberate, reasoned manner. If you guys have questions or comments that you'd like to see addressed as we move along tonight, you'll see a 3x5 card and a pen in your seat. Please go ahead and submit questions. We'll be happy to pick them up. We have several people around the room who will take them from you and turn them in. Tonight's moderator, I don't think I'm working very well, am I? Tonight's moderator is Sandy Corrales-Enex, standing right here, yay. And our handy-dandy timer is Vladimir Gomez. That said, welcome, and I'm going to turn you on over to the capable hands of Sandy.
Well, welcome everyone. We have a very distinguished panel of speakers that are going to speak on this issue of great importance. You mentioned it was controversial. A lot of interest in tonight's topic, so we're going to get right into it. We're going to start with self-introductions, and what I have, what the League has assembled is questions that came from the community. So there are some prepared questions that the panelists have before them. As Denise Latanzi mentioned, if you have questions that you would like to submit, your League officers are handy and available to pick those up. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the very first question. And I want the four panelists to please introduce yourself, your name, your title, organization, and how you formed an opinion regarding immigration. Let us start with Mr. Brown.
My name is Scott Brown. I'm here representing the Tea Party Patriots. I've formed my opinion over immigration over a number of years through direct impact upon me and the financial aspect of it as far as the cost of it. I was born in San Fernando. I was born and raised in Silmar, California, and San Fernando, raised there, and I moved up here in '89. I started a small business in 2009 after getting laid off after 28 years, and I'm semi-retired, and I'm 61 years old.
Wow, welcome. Mr. Magayon, you're next.
My name is Cesar Vega Magayon. I'm actually a community organizer with the Filipino Workers Center. Before, I was on the board of the LWVAV League of United Latin American Citizens, and I was the president of the Antelope Valley Dream Team. I formed my opinion on immigration when I was 4 years old. My mother and I actually crossed the border by night in Tijuana, and I have lived as an undocumented migrant in the Antelope Valley for 20 years.
Thank you. Captain Ford.
Hi, my name is Don Ford. I'm the captain of Palmdale Sheriff Station. I have a little disclaimer. The opinions I'm going to give are mine, not the Sheriff's Department's opinions. So you know that. But I do bring 38 years of law enforcement experience in dealing with immigration issues and dealing with the collateral issues of crime and things that occur.
I would also like to chime in that my opinions tonight are my own and not necessarily of the Tea Party Patriots.
Disclaimer is all over it. No worries.
No explaining, the opinions are mine.
Well, welcome. And Ms. Galindo.
My name is Lilia Galindo. I came from Mexico City. I have a BA in economics, a specialty in public finance, and a master's degree of public administration from season. I came with a lot of experience from Mexico City working for the federal government, and I have been here working for several agencies as assistant director of a Head Start program. Also in several positions. I was laid off in 2010, and somebody invited me to a radio program, and I fall in love with the occupation. Then I started my own program. It's named Café con Leche. It's community oriented, and I have had the opportunity to deal with so many immigrants. I am an immigrant too, and I understand perfectly what that means.
I told you it was a diverse panel.
Very.
So we're going to concentrate on the prepared questions first. As I mentioned, we're going to give them about a minute or so on each of them. They don't have to answer every single question. We want the conversation to be very free-flowing. If you feel that you want to rebut or have another comment, if you've already made a statement on that issue. But again, very conversational and casual, and you're all among friends. So our next question is, do you differentiate between legal and illegal immigration? Who would like to get us started? Mr. Brown.
Yes, I do. I'm a very simple person. This is not a complicated question to answer. Legal immigration is when you go through the current legal immigration system that we have, which illegal immigrants are not following. So it's very simple. You come here illegally, you're not going by the current laws that they should be going by, and to get immigration and then become a citizen through our legal system that's on the books right now.
Okay.
Well, I'll chime in on that. Actually, it's not so simple. Many people.
Can you move a little closer, or can you
Sure.
move your microphone closer? Because we want to hear every word.
As I was saying, it's not so simple. Actually, most undocumented migrants to this country come legally. They come with visas, they come on travel visas, they visit this country, they enter through ports of entry and are actually booked, fingerprinted, documented when they enter, and then they overstay. There's different kinds of undocumented immigrants, there's different kinds of clandestine migration. So it's actually not so simple, and I actually don't differentiate between legal and illegal immigrants. For most of us in our families, we're both. My parents are US citizens and permanent residents, and I'm the only undocumented person in my family. So when we talk about the themes as separate, we're actually doing ourselves a disservice because it's a complex systemic issue that just can't be divided into two categories.
And I have to say yes and no to both of these. Some cases we do have to differentiate. When we're dealing with criminal activity, one of the remedies is deportation and notifying ICE for serious crimes. And we have to do that. For people that are here legally, the process is a little different. But as far as most police services, the answer is no. We serve all the citizens here. When we're talking about public safety, it doesn't matter where you come from or where you've been in your past. It matters right then and now. When you need the police's help, we want to be there to help everyone.
Well, I see a big difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. Legal immigration is very comfortable, you have many challenges, but so many opportunities to overcome them. Undocumented immigration is so risky. You put your life in risk. You have to work in the places that you don't want to work, doing the most difficult jobs, and sometimes being abused by people who hire you and they don't want to pay you. It's a big challenge, and I wish one day the people who is against undocumented immigration we're having a nightmare, and we're finding in the same position that people who comes to this country and looking for a better kind of life for them and their families are trying to find. And I think that nobody wants to be undocumented. If we have an immigration reform, everybody can be legal and everybody's going to be happy.
So speaking of a big challenge, when we put these questions together through community input, even Google searches, there was a question, well, what term do we use? Do we use undocumented workers? Do we use illegal immigrants, illegal aliens? So I noticed that those terms are going to be used interchangeably amongst our panelists. So let us thank them in advance for their honesty and move on to our next question. Should immigrants who are here illegally have constitutional rights and protections when on American soil? And then can you also address the issue of AB 60? Should they be allowed to obtain a driver's license? Who wants to
Can I start that one?
Mr. Captain Ford?
Bottom line, the answer to the first question is undoubtedly a resounding yes. Everyone on U.S. soil has constitutional rights and should have constitutional rights. I don't care how you got here, because our system demands that for justice. If you try and put somebody outside of the law, then anything is possible, and treatment is possible. We operate within the law in the business that I do, and that has to apply across the board. Otherwise, you've got a bunch of individuals making individual decisions about what they think is right, not going by the rule of law. And the rule of law must be how we conduct business in the United States. The second part, I'm going to give it a yes to. I believe that the undocumented people do need to be able to get driver's licenses. Driving is a privilege, not a right. I understand that, and we preach that to people all the time. But driving licenses are about public safety more than anything else. We need people have been driving for years without driver's licenses. We know this. Not granting them licenses. Until 1993, undocumented immigrants could get licenses. And then the law was changed. There are some issues that are collateral to the driving about identification for other purposes that needed to be addressed in other forums. It's not my area of expertise, and I don't need to deal with that. But what I know is that when we have people that are driving anyway, they have not been tested, they have not been certified that they're safe to drive, that's a serious safety problem for us. We need those people to be examined, to actually take a behind-the-wheel test, and the only way to do that is to give them the opportunity, because experience has shown us that they're going to drive anyway. This forces people to go with the system. They can get driver's licenses, the insurance is all there, and I think it makes safer roads for everybody.
Okay, so just to refresh, constitutional rights and protections and the ability to obtain a driver's license. Mr. Brown.
I have to disagree of constitutional rights. People come here illegally. They are not, in my book, entitled to any constitutional rights. They completely ignore it and have no respect for our current immigration laws. They've shown that by coming in here illegally. They know they came here illegally. Rewarding bad behavior just begets more bad behavior. It just encourages it, because there's no penalty to breaking our laws. And you always hear this thing about, from the politicians and the proponents of illegal immigration, oh, we got to fix our broken immigration system. There's nothing broken with our immigration system. It's the fact that they won't enforce the laws we have. We don't have an illegal immigration system. We have a legal immigration system. Whether these people like it or not, that's the facts. We do not have we have a broken illegal immigration system, and that doesn't need to fix. You need to enforce the laws we have on there, if they take, and then go from there. But you can't expect anybody to have any respect for our laws when our own politicians don't respect them and enforce them. It's called anarchy. When you have people from President Obama on down rewriting laws as he sees fit, unconstitutional laws, with this executive amnesty that he just is trying to cram down our throats.
And we will get to that issue. You are correct.
Real quick, as far as driver's license.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you get back to
real quick. I don't believe that either, because again, you're rewarding bad behavior. Besides the driver's license they're already just starting to issue under SB 60, they're going to start giving insurance funded by us. Have you guys heard about this? They're going to give low-income insurance, where the average illegal driver is going to only have to pay 1/3 of what the average normal person would have to pay for insurance. Guess who's going to foot the other 2/3 of their insurance bill? We are. We can't continue operating like this. The whole system's going to collapse, and then there won't be any money for anybody to pay or buy anything.
Well, I'm actually going to interrupt this, because this question is actually really simple, Mr. Alex, because in 1898, the Supreme Court of the United States decided that all aliens in this country have basic constitutional protections. We're literally arguing a 120-year-old topic that has been settled multiple times, the most recently in Plessy versus Ferguson, which are proponents of the Constitution and of the laws of this country, you should know. The second point that I wanted to make very quickly about constitutional rights and protections is what are our current immigration laws. We have had different laws for the last 30 years, and people come in successive waves. So some people don't actually break the same laws that we're all talking about. And while we're addressing the issue of driver's licenses, the reason why we have driver's licenses is because there's a need. Because most immigrants are moving to cities where public transportation is available, but they're actually moving to places like the Antelope Valley, where we don't have adequate transportation for everyone's work purposes. People drive on average in this city, right, 20 miles to get to work. 40 minutes is the average commute time for the Antelope Valley. Undocumented immigrants are necessary in this country. We work construction jobs, we work service jobs. We do jobs that keep this country running. And the reason we have licenses is because, as Captain Ford said, it is a public safety issue. That is why almost every single law enforcement agency and body in the state of California supported AB 60. And on the topic of insurance, I'd really like to find out because our bill is $140 and I could really use the help. So.
You know what, folks? We can cover a lot of topics, a lot more questions and answers if we don't cheer or boo or. So let's just keep it going. Captain Ford.
Yeah, I just want to say that I don't refer to the driver's license or constitutional things as giving them a benefit or something. That's something that's a fundamental thing. We're not rewarding anyone by, they go and they pay the same fees for a driver's license. They take the same test as anybody else. There are penalties for illegal immigration, and I don't dispute the fact that the immigration laws are there for a reason, and those penalties are the same. It's the same thing as why would we not take away driver's licenses from people that don't pay their income taxes? Or why would we not take away driver's license from people that do other things that are violations of the law? I venture that there's not a person in this room that has not violated a traffic law at one point in their lives. I know I have. I'm not proud of that.
Not
but,
you, Captain.
Yeah. But the fact is that reward and punishment are different things. For illegal immigration, there are prescribed punishments, and you can argue all day long. I won't get into that part of of whether we should or should not enforce that law. But our constitutional rights are separate from someone that violates the law. Somebody violates the law here, they commit a murder. We give them constitutional rights.
Well, actually, Captain Ford, do you have any statistics on how many people have applied for licenses here in the Palmdale-Lancaster area? I'm sure several of you have read the articles where there are pretty long wait lines for appointments because people are seeing a need that the DMV is starting to fill, that the legislature said was okay.
I don't have actual numbers. I know that all appointments all the way through April are already gone. There are thousands of people applying.
Ms. Galindo.
My position is exactly the same that Captain Ford. It's a constitutional right guaranteed in the 14th Amendment. And also I think that when President